Yo, yo, yo. Truth about death. It's gonna get real. So, it's funny, I was always the guy that was like, man, I hope nobody die around me. Like, not for my sake or anything, but like, I never know what to say. I was like, man, it's just awkward, And I always thought about, like, man, like, preachers and pastors or, whoever just give talks at funeral, like, that. I don't know, it's a touchy time. But it's funny as I do this more, like more and more people are coming to me in those times, and I'm having the right things to say. But it's funny too, like we always have the right things to say. It's only when we doubt or question ourselves that we don't. And if we trust that, if we trust that we're coming from a loving place, it's always the right thing. But I want to get into about death because again, it is a touchy subject, but it's not what people think it is. Like it's not a means to necessarily be sad or to feel like something was taken from you or a lack. It's something greater, and I'll explain. I'm talking a little slow too because I'm trying to think how I want to order this. Like what's the best way to start? So what's funny though is I'm gonna do twofold because I know some people believe in God, some people don't, and the answer is ultimately the same whether you do or don't. But I do want to talk to the godly folk real quick, just because as a kid this was something that it was like I don't understand. Like I thought you believed God was everything. And this not I'm not what do you call it, God bashing or anything. Not God believer bashing. I'm not doing it. I am a believer of God. But one of the things I remember being little, not understanding, is why people really did get so sad about death when they said that they believed that the person is now with God or they are now in heaven. And it just always troubled me. But from what I've come to see, is never really about the person that died. It's about the person that feels that they're left. So like they feel like they lost somebody that maybe had their back, so they think they're lacking something, or they feel like they just feel like they lost something. So it's like, it's funny, like death should be about the person that died, but it's more about ourselves. Like we make it about us, like, man, what I'm gonna do now? You know what I mean? And yeah, so it's interesting. But it's cool to see too, because it's like you realize that it's not always about you, but we always make it about ourselves. And when you start to change it and reverse that and make it about other people make it about you, and it's pretty cool. So let's get into this death talk. So again, people fear death because they think it's an end. They think they will cease to exist. They think it might not mean anything. They fear what's on the other side. But fear itself, the goal of fear is death. So it's like for you to even fear death, you are giving power over to death instead of what you are, which is life. Like you're living, breathing right now. Like there's no doubt right now that you don't believe that you're life, but you're giving belief over to death in this life moment, in this living moment. And it's your nature as a creator that creates the death, that creates the circumstances that brings what you seem to believe as death about. And we often try to be cautious because of this. Like we see something happen to somebody else and we think that because it happened to them, it's going to happen to us. But again, don't let somebody else's effect be your cause. You are cause. You put it like this: your mind controls your body, and you control your mind, so you control your body. So there's nothing that you have to fear with that. But I should say, you can control your mind. And the reason I say can instead of you just control your mind is because we've sowed the seeds of letting outside forces control our mind. We become susceptible to influences that might not serve us, and we've gotten the habit of doing things. We've attained habits that might not be in our best interest. And it's not a bad thing, because it could always be reversed, and you can use habits to your advantage. You can get in the habit of doing the things that you want to do more of, even by starting to do one a day of whatever that thing is. Like, you want to do one push-up a day, it's better than no push-ups if you're trying to have maybe a stronger build, so to speak. Because again, everything comes down to its purpose. And fear, before I go too far off on a tangent, so fear, the purpose of fear is death. And what I mean is, so fear is something that isn't here right now. You're fearing what you believe something to be. And whatever is happening to you, whatever you fear could happen to you, hasn't even happened. It might not even happen, but you're bringing that into this existence right now, and you're saying it's real. So you're kind of deadening this perfect moment right here, right now, by saying you would rather be where there could never be. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you sow the seeds of death already before it happens. And because you now believe in death, the illusion of death as real, you really don't experience life. You experience an illusion of life. So you may say, I fear, going down this path or doing this thing I enjoy because I fear I might die. But living is doing that full force, unapologetically. And just to even give an example, like, I remember being a little kid, and I would just jump off stuff. Like, the higher the better. I remember even at my house, we had a bunch of steps. It was just super tall. I would start on the first step, jump down, go up 2 steps, jump down, and I was probably, my record might have been like maybe 10 steps. And I was a little kid. If my mom knew this, she'll probably I'm not gonna. You see, I was gonna put something out there that shouldn't have been out there, but she wouldn't have liked to heard it. So let's just say that. And yeah, but I was fearless. And then and then what made me think of this recently was a video came across my feed when I was scrolling on Reddit or something, Instagram, I don't know. And there was this kid that had on the cape, and he just jumped down from the top step. He fell, but he was all right. He didn't even know he was supposed to, be hurt. Like you don't think these things. And I talked about that in another video, which I'll reference on the YouTube version of this video, so you can see it. But because you don't believe that certain things what happen to you, they won't happen. And the dad was he was cool and calm, or the adult male that was at that situation, he had said something like, "Don't let that cape fool you, thinking you have superpowers when you don't," or something like that. But the kid was standing up like perfectly fine. It was hilarious. I rewound it a bunch of times because he just took off. And my point is, we've deepened our belief in death over the years, in fear over the years, and we become more and more prone to it. And also by just watching the people that we're around the most, like what they fear, we probably end up fearing ourselves. Not because it's necessarily passed down, it's just that we look to them for an example of how to be a human being, and we took on that seemingly unseen that's always there. So again, let's get back to death, right? So because of this fear, okay, now let's do this. Let's talk about the body. So there's a belief that we are a body, and not that we have a body. Like we believe we can't exist without our body, but at the same time, we never remember a time when we didn't exist. Like we were told we were born on this date, but we don't remember that date. We would probably remember the day after or the day after that. We just knew, for all intents and purposes, we've always been here. We've known that we've been into existence, and we just experience what we like experiencing. We like to find more of it because that's what we are. We create more and more. We are abundant. We are unlimited. And the body itself is finite, is limited. And because of that, we look to make it unlimited, but that's not really what we want. We want the unlimitedness. So I'm trying to make sure I say this without getting too far off in terms. So the body reacts to your unlimitedness. So in the way which you embody are the beliefs that you currently have. And as you take on new beliefs, your body adjusts. It adjusts to make things easier. Like I said, like basketball players, they grow to be the tallest ones in their family. Not necessarily because they were good genes that they had tall people in their family, but it's that they always had that goal. They wanted to get taller because they wanted to be a better baller and soar higher and dunk. They reached for that heights, and their body would just transform. Sometimes in the course of a night, they'll go to sleep, wake up super tall. But the same thing with gymnasts. They'll end up being the shortest ones in their families, not because they come from a family of short people. It's just that they can whip their bodies around when their core is tighter. They're usually short but strong, very strong people. And again, the body just adapts to these things. So I have a belief that I haven't tested yet, but I plan on testing it. But if you really don't try this at home, kids, yet. If you really believe that you can fly, you will adapt the body that can fly. You know, even Michael Phelps, like they say his body is made for swimming. I don't know, maybe take a look at his family. Did they all have a body of swimmer? Who knows? Or did he just kind of develop that over his love for swimming, and the proportions just filled out? So the body is a representation of the limits we currently hold. But once, from what I understand, once we let go of all limits, we will go back to just being a burst of light that we are, which we can do and experience everything, be everywhere, be anywhere, all of that. What they call enlightenment. Like you realize that you are this light. And the body is kind of, you could in a way say it's shadows, kind of, but it's also an experience. It's a way to transcend the body. So it's a good experience. It's a lot to think about. It is, but just know that what you embody, your body, are the beliefs that you have, and you bring about certain things into certain situations. And at any time, you can change your body by changing your mind, by changing the purpose, by changing the thought behind that. And which is why, some people, they accept sickness as part of them, not realizing that if they acquired something, they could also let it go. Like I caught a cold. You can also let that cold go. Like why did you keep it? Why did you make it part of your body? Why did you make it part of your being? But it comes from us believing that, just believing in fear, believing that we are fear, believing that we are flawed, believing that something could happen to us. But again, if the body changes at the mind level and we control our mind, this means we're even outside of our mind. Like we are unlimited. Like we're not limited by anything at all. And so when you die, so let's get back to death. So when you die, right? Again, we are abundant. We're ever growing. So if a body dies, it means that there's no more purpose for it. Either you embodied so much of which is not true, which causes you to age and become sluggish. And the reason I say age, because you might say, yeah, we all age. Well, we all have a calendar marking that we have, but you know that like some 20-year-olds are more youthful than other 20-year-olds. All the way up to 100-year-olds are way more youthful than 100-year-olds. But what we call youthful is more of just a sense of life. Like you always have that life, or else you would not be here. Like you are life. So to go back to my original point, where was I at? So when you die, when a body dies, put it like that, there's no more purpose for it, and its resources get repurposed. So, like, I forgot the what exactly happened, so I'm kind of paraphrasing, but like there's some body that there's some like bug or insect that can lay an egg in the body, and then all these slugs come from, like, more life just comes from the body. Or it may look like the body itself decays, but the resources are kind of going out into the ether to be repurposed by nature, by anything. But not only that, the life behind what manifested that body in the first place is free once again to create either a new body or to create something different, something new, something that has not been before. Because that's what creation is. You don't have to create what was already here. You get to create what is brand new. And a lot of times we try to be clones of other people or clones of what we consider our heroes, but we're just more so meant to learn from them, but incorporate ourselves to be more of ourselves. So again, we see that when a body dies, we lose nothing. We lose no resources. All the resources get repurposed, and that body is that life behind the body, behind the mind, which is behind the body, gets to be repurposed, gets to create even more and ever abundantly. And the other part to this, how long is this video? It's not that long. Okay. The other part to this is you're never without the person that you think you're without. So when you hang around friends, you start to get each other's lingos. You start to get each other's mannerisms. And even people you're not friends with, even people you admire, even people you listen to. I mean, I'm using English right now. You know what I mean? Like, that was like some people came up with that at one point, but now they are a part of me. You know, I'm a part of them. We're speaking the same language. If somebody has impacted your life, you are a part of their life. They are a part of yours. Like, there's no separation in that. So in a way, they exist within you, and you can tap into that at any moment. You can access them at any moment, their consciousness. There was the movie Malcolm X. I remember hearing interviews from Spike Lee, and maybe even I'll say Malcolm X himself, but Denzel Washington, and they talked about how he allowed Malcolm X to flow through him, like the consciousness of Malcolm X to flow through him. He didn't try to do an impersonation. And if you watch that movie, like straight up, you would think you're watching Malcolm X. And like, go watch some videos of Malcolm X. Is wild. But even after that, though, I still see pieces of Malcolm X in Denzel Washington when he speaks. But I'm sure actors feel like that for many of their roles. And again, there's no separation. There's why you have talented people that can imitate anybody. Everybody is imitatable because we are all linked. And even through, meditation, people have been able to learn from people who are not there, who are not here right now, who are seemingly not here. But again, we are always here now because it's the only moment, it's the only time. It stretches far and wide. Like, this moment is just so vast, and we can access it at any time. Which is why it's no reason to ever go back into the past. There's no reason to ever go into the future, because right now there's so much. Like, even I'm sitting at the park. Y'all know the park is one of my favorite places, and there's just so much life around here. Even above me, it's even a leaf that has fallen, it may look like it's dying or decaying, it still goes through a period of transformation. And I don't know, it's just so cool. So cool. Like, just everything. But we get caught up in, again, what's not there, that we don't appreciate what is. And when we appreciate what is, it actually appreciates. It means more. It's worth more. It grows abundantly. It grows more beautiful. And so it's more beautiful to us. It's like the never-ending cycle. Never ending. Like, but we think death is an end, so we fear it, but there's no sense to fear it. So if you have loved ones that have passed, they haven't passed, they gave up purpose of their body, or they freed themselves from the prison that they thought that they were in, and they are back living lives. They are still here living lives, impacting others, helping others, probably even interacting with you right now. And if you are thinking that you're dying, don't think that you're living. And if you still, like, you say, you know what, I don't care for this body anymore, or I'd rather move on, pass on. You know what I mean? Like, but do so peacefully. Like, don't fear what's on the other side. Don't resent what is here. because you can always change this right now, this how you experience this at any moment by just changing your beliefs. And how do you change your beliefs? Just change what you can control, which are your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Speak what you want to experience. Speak only that. Uh, Take actions toward what you want to experience, and think thoughts toward that. Put reminders everywhere. Follow people that have content that coincides with exactly what you want out of life, and share that with others. Like, not necessarily share the content. Well, I would want you to share this video and like this video and do all of those great things. Subscribe to your boy, but also like share in your conversation the things that you're learning, the things that you want to learn more of, the things you want to experience, because it would be made more real if they get on camera and something hit me in the head. I feel you. I got you. So the trees agree with me. The squirrel that threw that at me is with me. And I'm in this video. So this is the truth about death. Death is an illusion. The truth about an illusion. The light that shines away the darkness. There is no death. There is just everlasting life. Let's live. Yeah.
JClay.